We'll see where Cloud9 now go. They're going to take the Koshka away, so doing a great job of making sure that they eliminate as many of these hard dive heroes as possible.
So Impunity, based on what they picked before, they can either go with a Cruel here or Lorelei, which we saw them play Lorelei with an Ardent composition that worked so well for them. So let's see if they're going to do that, or they're going to switch things up and play a whole new type of composition into this Churnwalker composition.
Black Feather still open. It's a very nice pick right here because you can also flex it, so you leave C9 wondering if you're going to play Weapon Power, CP, whether you're going to play it in lane or in the jungle. So Impunity do have a few options. It did seem like Joseph didn't agree with that Koshka ban that the coach went ahead with, but they're going to pick up the Black Feather at this point. Impunity setting themselves up to success.
Black Feather, definitely one of those picks that can control a game if you are not careful against it. And by banning away the Rona, that's one of the hardest counters to the weapon Black Feather that we used to see a lot. So maybe that's where Impunity is going to go with this. Maybe they want to try and bring the weapon Black Feather to the table again.
Sky Weapon Power is still open, works really well with Churnwalker because you're able to put in a lot of aggression. The Ozo with the Sky Weapon Power. This is a very strong early game aggressive playing composition by Cloud9.
And let's keep in mind, Ozo has a win already at Worlds, and it was in the hands of Cloud9. So this is definitely a pick that they have put plenty of practice into.
Yeah, are they going to maybe go Black Feather Ardent with that jungle Lorelei and have basically a very strong composition when it comes to three-man fighting, so they can get onto that Sky, slow her, get the gauntlet on top of her, get the splash down, put their water wall onto this Black Feather, so he can delete one of these carries quickly.
And good to see Gabe having some fun with the camera there. Getting in a couple of laughs, too. It's, again, after the last time we saw Cloud9, the state that they were in, it's so good to see that they're back here on the stage, smiles on their faces.
Impunity, it seems, I feel like they're going to try to go for a CP Black Feather in the jungle right here and pick up a weapon power carry such as the Baron or such as the Kestrel. Just because if you're playing a Black Feather dive composition, oh, they're going to go for it. With a Cruel as well. I mean, that's either going to be a CP Black Feather lane or double weapon power.
I'm going to lean towards the double weapon power here, just going for more of that utility type Kroll, picking up a Bone Saw and then a whole bunch of defenses, and just try and really enable this Black Feather to hard carry.
Yeah, certainly an option for them. We'll see whether they do go for that double weapon power. You can hear that the crowd is ready to get on into this game. I'm ready to get into this as well, but before we do, I'm going to ask you for your predictions coming into our third place match. Is this going the way of Impunity, or is this going the way of Cloud9?
I mean, Gabe on Churnwalker and Joseph on his Ozo. I think Cloud9 has this game in the bag.
All right, Cloud9.
I was full Impunity yesterday, but for this game, I think the Ozo pick is going to take a little bit of precedence, and I think Cloud9's got game one.
Yeah, I think with the Ozo versus the triple melee, you're able to bounce on multiple heroes, dealing a lot of AoE damage, and with Churnwalker sharing and amplifying that damage as well, it's going to be really tough to deal with. I'm going to go with C9 as well.
All right, we have a full Cloud9 desk here, which typically means that that team is going to lose across the course of this tournament so far. We'll have to see whether that is going to be the case coming on into this game. It's Cloud9 going up against Impunity. We are ready to get into this best of 5. We're ready to kick things off. And I'm going to have the honor of passing it over to Action Jackson and Denominate to start off this best of 5.
Thank you very much, Munchables. We are excited to get this game underway. We've got Impunity up against C9. The crowd, we're going wild for Impunity yesterday. I know Impunity are going to be wanting to put on a good performance as the home team, but Cloud9 have some redemption to do here, trying to take home this third place position.
Yeah, they absolutely do, and it should be a really exciting one here to watch. Both of these teams played absolutely out of their minds yesterday, and you know, I think this is going to be a really close and interesting matchup. And the draft is really fun, actually. We don't see a whole lot of Ozo, so getting to see this Ozo go into a triple melee composition with that weapon Sky to dance around the fight should be pretty interesting.
It's interesting we saw that last pick Kroll. Let's talk about that a little bit, Denominate, because I don't know if I was really anticipating something that had to, you know, try and stick on top of Sky, but deal with Churnwalker, you know, coming out of that last pick.
It is definitely a little bit difficult. You know, Kroll, if he burns his gap closers a little bit too early, Sky, obviously, especially the weapon route, is able to, you know, keep those auto attacks up, build up a breaking point as the game goes on, and can really start to scale her damage up quickly.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're on to the Halcyon Fold. Impunity versus Cloud9, fighting for third place and some pride here. right now. Both teams just making their way onto the fold, doing the normal level 1 things. Would you expect to see any early action here, Denominate?
Probably not. If any, it would be out of Cloud9 because they do have that mobility coming out of the sky. Blackfeather, as the game gets later on, will have a little bit more mobility to his kit. He will be able to keep up with the sky dancing on the back line, but we still have several minutes. I mean, that'll be the 7 to 8 minute mark before that's the case. And now, Gabe Bizzle coming up into the lane, going to try to secure any of those last hits as need be, while Old School and Joseph rotate down to the back, and same with the side of Impunity.
Yeah, Cloud9 doing a good job to pick up that Elder Treant. It was a little risky to go in for the fight from Impunity, so they don't decide to risk that one. Let's talk about how the builds are going to pan out here. Joseph right now going for the Crystal Ozo. Looks like Old School going for the Weapon Sky. Do you like that decision?
It does seem to make the most sense to me. Again, the Weapon Sky particularly is very good at dancing around the edge of the fight. She's getting those basic attacks off frequently, able to build up the breaking point stacks once she gets those. And it makes it very difficult for the Kroll and the Blackfeather to stick onto her, especially with the Churnwalker, who has that little additional bit of displacement that he can bring and kind of bring them back.
Whoa, Queasy! Look at that damage already. Joseph does need to be careful, though, not to go too far under the turret. You can see if you just misposition even a tiny bit, Cloud9 will take the opportunity to jump on you. That engage did make some space, though. Impunity do pick up the Elder Treant.
Yeah, they get a little bit, but they really have to be cautious here as Quarterboy almost drops. But Healing Flask going to keep him alive. And now here comes QC back up into the lane.
Quarterboy should be able to get out of there. Queasy with a few more items under his belt. A little bit more durable now for round 2 here in the game. He's still got to watch himself, though. Obviously, good gank potential can come in from that Ozo. And as well, it's difficult to trade against this Churnwalker, right? Because the shared damage means that if you want to get close enough to actually deal anything back to Cloud9, you are putting yourself at risk for that.
Yeah, you absolutely are. And, as you mentioned, the Churnwalker, this is really fun to get into. With the combination of the Churnwalker and the Ozo, that can be a really devastating pair as well, especially against this triple melee composition. It's very easy to land those hooks and chains. You'll start spreading the damage around, and meanwhile, that's really where Ozo specializes the best. His Acro Bounce, his 3-wing circuits, they are AoE damaging abilities that will then get shared a little bit extra around those chains. Ozo will be able to build up some fortified health and healing in the meantime as well.
All right, Impunity, they want to contest this Elder Treant. We might have our first big fight of the game here. Bluesity already falling quite low, but he's trying to get onto Joseph. Joseph needs to get out of there. He doesn't have anywhere to go. Cornered. Impunity draw first blood. Very strong stuff from the home team here, Denominate.
Yeah, and we can hear the crowd already getting excited as Impunity. They take a little bit of an edge here. Not only do they get that first blood, but, Blue down here, he's going to go ahead and pick up the backs as well out of the Cloud9 jungle. Just extend that lead a little bit and should be able to make it out safely, too. There's no way Joseph's going to be able to make it down and stop that. So, overall, great start there from Impunity. Minor lead, but anything against Cloud9 is something.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Cloud9 is a very strong team in the early game. Any edge you can find there does slow down their roll a little bit, which can be a big point of aggression here for Impunity. They've got to keep in mind that they have some good scaling coming out from, for example, that Blackfeather. They don't necessarily want to fight always in the early game, but if you find an opportunity like that, it can be quite strong. Looks like Queasy's going this Crystal build, which obviously will have a big spike a little bit later here.
Yeah, definitely will. It's interesting that it's going Crystal in the lane. We don't see that too often, but because the basic attacks will deal a little bit of crystal damage as those Heartthrob stacks build up, it does work. He's completed the Aftershock first, which is what we see typically on these Blackfeathers. He has fairly low cooldowns on his abilities. He's able to use the Aftershock multiple times in the fight, and as well, once he hits level 8, that extended range is incredibly scary and on point.
Look at that damage coming onto Old School immediately here. A couple of points into the smite, doing some good work for Bluesity. Impunity, they're finding opportunities to keep the pressure on Cloud9. A reaction may be needed here. Old School has to pop that flask. He jumps back in, though. Queasy can't quite get there, and the hook and chain pull them back in. Cloud9 counter the aggression of Impunity and find 2 kills.
They find 2 kills, and can they find Queasy? There was the
They're looking for more. Queasy's fallen pretty low here, but he's going to find a return kill. Impunity managed to make a saving grace play happen there.
Yeah, the Banger was a little bit questionable out of Cloud9 there. Old School was very low on health, came back in because Joseph had went in. Perfect opportunity for QC to turn around, get that Aftershock proc down on the low health Sky, and took him out. Man, Listen to that crowd, AJ.
Every single kill Impunity gets, I'm expecting to hear some serious noise here in the Cloud9 Theater. They have a lot of fans behind them. Cloud9, that probably not getting into their head too much. They are a team that, of course, has many of their own fans back home. But still, it's something you got to keep in mind, that mental fortitude here.
Yeah, it definitely does. Cloud9, they've been able to find little opportunities, but Impunity almost every time have been able to answer right back. If you make a mistake against this Impunity team, if you do push yourself out a little too far, they're going to punish you time and time again for it. Cloud9 do get the chance to shop here, though. So we have the Aftershock complete on this Ozo, and we have a level 6 weapon infusion for Old School, looking for more of that really early aggression.
Yeah, Cloud9 definitely want to make something happen here. They've got Bangarang off of cooldown again. Gavizzle has also hit 6, so Trespass is available. Cloud9 starting to do a bit of trespassing, in fact, into the jungle of Impunity, clearing out some scout traps. Nice one there. It does spot the path back to the mustache brush, though.
Yeah, and it's in a nice spot. It's like a little bit out of where your auto-pathing is going to be on a hero walking by. So we typically see scout traps in this location will get vision on a multiple passes of the enemy, because it's just, again, when you're walking around, the auto-path doesn't really go into that direct spot too often. It's more so you have to physically go there and check.
Old School not quite able to steal away that camp. Nice job by the Kroll in order to keep it on his side. Gold is actually very even at this point. Not a big differential here, about 200 in it at around 7 minutes. That's pretty good news, I would guess, for Impunity, who are looking to hit a couple more spikes before they really hard commit here.
Yeah, Blackfeather, as he gets the second item online, which is typically either the Shatterglass or the Broken Myth. Every once in a while we see the Dragon's Eye, but that's usually a third item purchase on the way around. And that's where that second going into third item.
Old School, he's got to be careful here. Where's that from Hell's Heart? It actually lands on the Gavizzle, but Old School, he's still so low. Fountain just barely keeps him out. A great trespass, buys some time, but Queasy wants more. He's on the back line, he falls. Old School gets out of there, and now Impunity are miles away from home. They've got nowhere to go except back into the fight, which Blue City is trying to make happen here. Old School still quite low. He's trying to get out of here. Blue City finds a return kill. I don't see him getting out of this one, but still a good consolation prize there for Impunity. Nice engagement from Cloud9.
Yeah, 2-for-1 trade for Cloud9. Quarterwad able to make it out alive, so that's a little bit of a saving grace for Impunity here, as now QC is back in the lane. That was such a great engagement early out of Impunity there, but Gavizzle with a great trespass was able to save Old School long enough for them to turn the fight around, pick up a kill, but then I think Old School came a little bit too close into the fight, obviously, in Blue City. That Dead Man's Rush for the gap closer comes through, smites him down, trades out a kill.
All right, so Cloud9 are leading by 1 kill right now, but Gold's still quite even. They want to keep pushing Impunity to make them make mistakes. You can see Queasy taking a lot of damage from Old School's poke. Now that Old School's picked up the Star Blade and Poison Shiv, starting to do some serious damage. Impunity's got to be careful from Hell's Heart coming across the boomerang. Gonna land on the Gabe, but the reflex block is there. Hook and chain does get Blue City, but not enough follow-up from the side of Cloud9. Queasy's got to be careful, stepping too far off the side, looking for that poke damage. Something like a Bangarang could catch him out. The turret is very low here. Cloud9 is going to take it, and they actually want a little bit more. Quaterboy, he needs to be careful. Nice gauntlet coming out just to buy some space. Impunity really giving up a lot of ground here in this last couple of minutes.
Yeah, they have, and first objective goes over to Cloud9 as they're starting to hit some of those spikes. Ozo is getting into that Broken Myth, which is going to cut down some of the shielding that's started to be built by the side of Impunity, as well as then obviously all heroes have a natural shield value to themselves as well. So good item purchase there for the Ozo as he rotates down to the shop. Old School, as you mentioned, that Sorrow Blade, it really starts to pack in the damage because of the safety net that Sky has of the mobility circling around the fight. You're never really too vulnerable as long as you don't get caught out. Whereas QC, he has now finished an alternating current, which, we were talking a little bit earlier about the items there. It's usually a Broken Myth or a Shatterglass, something for that raw damage on the on points. And that's not what we have. He's going for a more basic attack build.
It's quite interesting, right? We talk about Impunity having interesting builds frequently. A lot of the time they surprise us by how ingenious they are once we actually figure out the game plan. So what is Impunity trying to make happen by going for this? Are they leaning into the longer fights they expect maybe with Kroll?
That's probably the route that they're going. I don't know if the alternating current is the right choice early. I think you still need that heavier amount of crystal power to make the alternating current viable. But now Cloud9, they're going to go ahead and they're going to get this gold mine. Impunity aren't even going to see it coming. So that's just a big 400 gold payout going to each of the members of Cloud9 as they keep their objective control strong. They're keeping their vision control strong as well. But I mean, look at that scout trap is still there from Impunity.
It is still there, and they know the flank's coming. Maybe they can make something happen here. Hook and Chain does not connect, but Impunity don't go straight in. They're just playing ring around the Rosie, around this Kraken pit, trying to get out. In the last couple of minutes, gold differential really has grown monumentally for Cloud9. They went from being about 200 gold ahead at 6.5 minutes to now at 11 minutes being about 4,000 gold ahead. That's pretty substantial.
Yeah, and I think Impunity's been saved a couple times by that scout trap. You know, just like that last time. You know, Cloud9 was coming around looking for that aggressive engage, and they weren't able to find it, and Cloud9 didn't even recognize that they had been spot out. So that vision is still there. That 50 gold has gotten so much net value, and now Cloud9 again very strong on their objective game. They're pushing constantly. There's only one life left on this Crystal Sentry, and Impunity, they don't have the items under their belt right now to actually take a fight with Cloud9, shy of finding a good stun onto Old School.
And Cloud9's playing this smart. They're not shoving in the wave. They're not allowing Impunity to get farm for free. They're pushing once the minions have already killed a couple, and you're only getting a little bit from Impunity, but now they got to go for the fight. Old School on the back line, the main target here for Impunity already. Everyone jumping on top of him. He is going to fall. Impunity find a kill. They want Joseph as well. Joseph's trying to get out of here, but the weakness stacks are making it really hard for him to do the damage he needs to. He is sustaining nicely. That's just Ozo things, but still Impunity hunt him down. They find a second kill, and the home crowd goes wild.
That was a perfect setup from Impunity there. They burned everything in Cloud9's arsenal in the first second of that fight. We'll get into it right here as we see the gauntlet come out of Coeur d'Ivoire. You know, Old School had to block out the From Hell's Heart there. The Crucible was used as well. That's 2 blocks down. From there, Old School was a sitting duck because Kroll was allowed to get onto the back line. The Trespass unfortunately came out a little bit late, and with Old School down, there's not a whole lot that Joseph and Gabe Bizzle can do without that consistent damage that Sky brings to the table.
Very, very nice stuff there from the side of Impunity. They were extremely patient, waiting for an opportunity to present itself where Cloud9 overstepped just a little bit, and they were able to capitalize. Now that brings gold back a little bit. Still a decent advantage for Cloud9, but items starting to go the way of Impunity. We have an Atlas Pauldron now on blue. That's going to be big for slowing down some of this damage out of Cloud9.
Yeah, it absolutely will if they can land it onto the back line is the big thing. Again, Sky is very good at getting around these a little bit on the slower side melee heroes like Kroll. But if we can see more just beautifully positioned gauntlets coming out of Coeur d'Ivoire, then we can definitely see them, you know, get an Atlas down. That'll give them more time in a fight to kind of play with things. That's another 338 gold payout there for Cloud9. Still a sizable gold lead for them, but Impunity's positioning has really allowed them to find opportunities every chance they can get.
And if you want to see more great gauntlets out of Impunity, and Echo is one way of doubling your chances of that. Quadravoid picking up a big item for the captain here. Cloud9 are beginning to make some aggressive posturing again, starting to push up past the middle point of the map. One more Sentry life is available here, and if they pick it up quickly, this will reduce Impunity's options for vision and safety in their side of the jungle. Cloud9 secure it. Quadravoid wants to maybe make something happen. A Scout Trap spots out where Cloud9 is. They can go in if they want to. Blue's just walking out. Quisi, he's coming in. That's the first gauntlet. Where's the second one gonna be? It locks him in. Old School, he doesn't have anywhere to go. The Crucible does buy some time, but already Cloud9 have found the first kill, and it's very hard for Quisi to do any more. Impunity overstep, and Cloud9 punished.
Yeah, that was a little bit too hard on the chase. You know, the gauntlet came down, and it was a really well-positioned gauntlet, but unfortunately, QC was a little bit too behind. Blue City was really deep on in that fight. They didn't have the combined damage. Unfortunately, they were able to cut it out. We'll get into it right here as we see this replay. Again, beautiful gauntlet comes out, burns the blocks out of Cloud9, but look how far back QC is, and meanwhile, the whole time, Cloud9 are just able to rein in the pain onto Blue City, and it's only a matter of time before QC drops as well as Cloud9 find a clean 2 kills off that one.
Yeah, very nice stuff from Cloud9. They really forced Impunity's hand, though, with that take of the Sentry. It was a window of opportunity for Impunity that just didn't quite pan out. Look at all the items being picked up in that feed on the right. Cloud9 are very well equipped for this next engagement, and with Kraken on the map, they're certainly looking for one soon.
Yeah, definitely are. You know, that 15-minute mark is huge. Losing the fight, losing a fight after the Kraken's on the board is almost assuring destruction of your base in some way, shape, and form. So we'll have to see how the next one turns out. I'd really like to see Impunity be able to group up and get their damage focused onto Old School and bring them down. It's just the ability to set up the play because of the mechanical skill of the Cloud9 team and of the Impunity team. It's very back and forth fights as far as the damage trade goes. Cloud9 just find the little bit better edge in these past couple fights.
And Cloud9 looking for maybe some more fights. Blue does get the hook landed onto him, but Gabe Vizzle having some trigger discipline, not committing just yet to the fight. Quisi's poke damage is really not being that impactful at this point. Denominate, the build he's gone for needs more of those basic attacks coming in. Does mean that Impunity has to hard commit if they want to have a good chance of winning something here. Look at this Blue. Oh, he gets spotted out in there. The trespass actually committed to him. Blue, he's got to get out of here. Quisi tries to make the counter engage happen. Good from Hell's Heart, but it actually gets blocked on the backline. Blue tries to make it there. He needs to weaken down Old School, but Gabe has his back. Quisi is out of there over the wall. Quater has no way out, though, and Joseph is on the hunt. This could be an ace denominate if Cloud9 play their cards right. That's the first kill picked up. Quisi, he's got to try and pop the reflex block. It's not going to be enough. Cloud9 find themselves an ace, and they have a Kraken to go pick up off the back.
Cloud9 are going to get this Kraken. They're going to get a choke point turret off of the minion wave as well. And with only 2 turrets between them and a victory, they may have what it takes to close game number 1 out. But even then, we cannot count Impunity out. If they're able to come through and find a clean couple of kills on Cloud9, they definitely can take down this Kraken, and they can definitely start to swing things their way off the back of some bounty gold.
Yeah, Impunity do have a lot riding on this next couple of minutes, though. Echo's available for Quater. That is going to be massive here. He does need to have as much lockdown for the backline as possible. And also Impunity, you know, they kind of need to engage on their own terms, right? You saw them try and do that. Blue snuck into the bush. But ultimately, it was Cloud9 setting up that fight. If Impunity actually force things out of Cloud9, maybe they can do something here.
Yeah, and you know what was really unfortunate was that hook and chain did land. I think it was more of just a check. As soon as Gabe Vizzle saw, oh, hold on here.
Yeah, very close to landing a hook and chain onto Quisi here. Impunity forced back into their base. Only 2 turrets remaining for the Singaporean team here. They've definitely got their work cut out for them. Can they take down this Kraken quickly enough? Blue's actually pulled in. That's the signal for Joseph to maybe go here. Good gauntlet coming out. Quatervoy is on the front line. Trespass is huge, though. That's going to stun up 3 members. Here comes gauntlet number 2. They've got to get onto Old School. Blue's the only one on the back line. He can't quite get there. Now he's just trying to delay C9 from pushing to win. I don't think it's going to be enough, though. Look at how healthy this Kraken is, Denominate. Impunity need a miracle here. C9 are pushing in, making the juggernaut play. They're going to find another kill onto Quisi. Cloud9 take game number 1 of our 3rd place match.
Yeah, it was such a good play coming out of Cloud9. Again, it's just too difficult for this Krull and Blackfeather to stick onto the sky unless if they can land the stun. And Gabe Vizzle with the Crucibles just perfectly timed over and over again. They were able to get out, and you know, if you're not able to lock down the sky, there's just not a whole lot this Krull can do, because then you've overcommitted and you can't escape either.
Very convincing victory there from Cloud9, about 10,000 gold up.